Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to episode number 3 of 10 Minutes with Teo. You're here with your host, Mateo Almos, Young Mo, whatever you want to call me, man. And we're here, January 3rd, Tuesday. I believe it's like 5:15 p.m. And we made it, baby. Give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself a pat on the back for making it to the new year. We made it through 2022. And what a year that was, man, to make it through. Um, and now we're here in 2023, man. What can I say? But yeah, these next few episodes, I want to talk about 2022 and really reflect on the last year, which was a crazy year for me and a lot of other people. But for me specifically, man, it is a year that changed my life. It is a year I will never forget. And I want to take the next couple episodes to unpack the year and just unfold and be vulnerable and talk about it because a lot happened in the year of 2022. For those of you who know me, you know I lost my father November 4th, suddenly by way of suicide. And a few weeks later, I lost my grandmother, my tita, my dad's mom, Socorro Olmos. She passed away due to health complications and she was older. So it was a death our family was essentially expecting. But even before that, I experienced loss throughout the year, loss of comfort, stability, loss of ego. And this was a loss that was also unexpected, but yet it came from my own actions. And it's something I want to just be vulnerable about and talk about and, just how my life really changed. It was between March of 2022 and June. It went all the way through the summer, I would say, and even fall and even now through winter. But it started really in the spring term. Last year was my senior year here at Oregon State. I'm getting ready to graduate. And it was a good year, essentially. Starting from January, I was winning a lot of awards on campus for different things and different, activism organizations I was a part of. Wrestling was going well. I had a great season. And that season essentially came to an abrupt end late February, early March at the Pac-12 tournament. I lost close matches to two guys I had beat during the season, and that really hit me hard. So my season ended at the Pac-12 tournament. I was the only one on my team to not qualify for the national tournament, despite being ranked all year and projected to go. And so that hit me really hard. And also just being involved in a lot of things in the winter term was always like my toughest term with school, with wrestling, and then with my job on campus and with like other organizations I was a part of. It was just always a lot on my plate. And so it was breaking me, man. It was cracking me. I had been in an on and off relationship for a number of years with my ex-girlfriend. That was a long distance and it was rough to navigate. And we had trouble. We had a breakup. And so, all these things were just adding up and it just led to me um, adopting some negative habits of just, relationships with people, with different people and lying and, you know, not being honest and being promiscuous and things like that as a form of like coping with my stress and my issues and my struggles. And so that was just not good. And essentially it eventually all came crashing down and I had to expose myself. I had to be honest with the people in my life that I was involved with, and I had to be honest with my ex-girlfriend. And I had to expose myself because it was eating me alive. And you know it was just not okay. And I was experiencing, physical and mental health complications from April all the way to, shoot, I don't even know. I guess maybe just recently, a couple months ago, that I started to feel better, but I was in extreme pain. Doctors didn't know what was going on. And, you know, I had gotten tested for a number of, diseases and viruses, and it was all negative. And so they didn't know what was going on. I had invasive procedures going on, and And so, it was just a time of stress and uncertainty and not knowing what's going on. Um, and then I felt like crap because I just, was just lying and doing all sorts of things that I shouldn't have been doing. And so I lost, my ex girlfriend, and rightfully so. She was done with what I was doing. Enough was enough for her. And so she had to go her own way. And that was a loss for me. And, it hit me really hard. I just lost relationships. I lost friendships. I hurt people. I hurt myself. And so I was in a really dark place. And it came to such a dark place that I was like in a manic state. I couldn't sleep. I was constantly anxious. I couldn't go outside. Like would like almost pass out anytime I went outside. And I was still trying to like get through like the spring term and get ready for graduation and act like everything was okay, but it wasn't. And so I had to end up going home because I was like suicidal, and I just didn't know what to do. I just had to be with family. And so, trying to uphold, wrestling training that was still going on, and like my goals, and get ready for the next season because I didn't, achieve my goals in this past season. And so it was just so much going on. My head was spinning. And this was a time that my life started to change. And I was experiencing real loss, my loss of my ego, of who I thought I was, loss of stability, losing relationships, and feeling alone in this fight, and loss of comfort, being in pain and physical pain and not knowing what's going on and having no answers from doctors. And I'm talking extreme, excruciating pain, and just all this loss that I was experiencing. And I was truly being humbled. And I was in the darkest place of my life thus far. And I understood where I was. And, you know, I didn't understand, a lot of it, but I understood that it was dark, and I had never felt like this before. I'd never experienced this level of discomfort and this level of pain and emotional sorrow. And so I was down there, man. And that's where you really find yourself. I kept telling myself, like, you find yourself more in the darkness than you ever do in the light. I don't know if anyone has ever said that before, but that's what I kept saying. And like, I had to find, the light. And that was God for me. Finding God, and spiritually connecting, and him pulling me out of that hole, and also looking deep within to my own spiritual, you know, looking within and finding that sheer will and power to climb my way out, and not wanting to quit on my goals or my dreams or my aspirations, but also finding a way how to continue going forward when nobody can essentially help you or give you some magic medicine to fix things, or, have a magic answer that's going to make you feel all better. And when you mess up, you have to reflect and look in the mirror and really look at yourself, especially at me as a man. I had to look at myself and think about who I am and who do I want to be. My goals and dreams and aspirations of being a husband and being a father one day, and, leading a family. And that was just, I couldn't have done that without being humbled. And that's what this experience was. It was a humbling, it was a crushing, like a pounding me into a fine powder so I could, when the rain came, I could become clay and be molded again. And so, I messed up, and I had to admit that. I had to admit that I was a liar, that I was a cheater, that I was fake, that I was just not doing the right thing in that aspect of my life. And so, that gave me room to grow. The humbleness gave me room to grow, and you can go both ways. You can either, continue to go further into negative habits, or you can change. And so it really changed me. My dad was really there for me a lot during this time, and he was going through a lot at the time as well. And my family was there for me, and just finding the unconditional love in my life um, really helped me, and changing my habits, changing my lifestyle, going dark, going alone, and pushing through. I would work out even when I was in pain. I would read. I'd read my Bible. I'd read books. I'd just find it any way to keep going. I'd listen to podcasts. I'd listen to David Goggins. I'd listen to motivational videos over and over and over again, just to keep myself going. I'd listen to worship music, and so I just found a way. But that was the first part of my life really changing. All from March all the way through the summer. The summer I was coaching wrestling camps and feeling like crap and feeling suicidal and in pain, and nobody even knew. And I was just finding ways to push through, man. But that was the first part of my life changing in 2022, and we'll get more into it in the next few episodes. We're coming up on 10 minutes, past 10 minutes here. I just want to shout out Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the good brothers, the good noops. J5 coming up January 5th, 1911 is the founding date of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated on the campus of Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. So shout out to the good brothers, man, good noops. J5, send some love to your fellow noop. Say what's up. Send 5 for J5. So thanks for tuning in with me, man, and I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you.